So I'm a little bit scared for this video just because I think once I reveal what this video is about, I think you'll understand. So there is a book that's been all over BookTube, BookTok, Goodreads, literally any reading social platform. This book has been around. It's been known to be a very, very sad book, and today we are gonna be reading it. I'm not gonna read it all in one sitting. We're just gonna go on this journey together, so it'll probably span multiple days, but we're gonna be reading A Little Life. Am I scared? Yes. Yes, very deeply scared. Am I mentally prepared? Am I mentally okay to read this book? That's debatable. That's actually highly debatable, but I don't really know what to expect. But I've seen a lot of videos, a lot of reactions of people reading this book, and I know it's gonna be sad, but I just don't feel like it's gonna make me cry like that. You know what I mean? Because there's not a lot of books that make me cry. Maybe only like a handful of books that make me cry. And that's because the trauma was a little too close to home. So unless this has a trauma that hits a little too close, I don't really foresee it making me cry. But honestly, I could be eating my words right now just saying that. The only thing with this book is that it's thick. Like, I have been actively avoiding this book, not just because it's sad, but because it's long as fuck. It's 814 pages. 814 pages. I mean, it's the right amount of floppy, but 814 pages? That's crazy. I did put in a hold on Libby so that I could read it on my Kindle as well, but I think the estimated wait time for that is 2 weeks, so I might have to just suffer through this physical copy. Oh, it's 4 weeks. I am currently 4th in line, and there's 9 copies in use, and 32 people are waiting in total. That's crazy. So a month until I can read this on my Kindle, maybe earlier if people return it earlier. So I'll just read the physical copy. I'll keep you guys updated, and yeah, I think I'm gonna start it tonight because I'm not feeling too well, so I'll just read this, I guess. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you guys posted. So I am like almost 100 pages into this book. We've gotten to, that does not show anything. We have gotten to part 2, The Postman. We've read this much. I've tabbed up the different chapters because they're kind of thick and varying lengths. So I marked that just so I have a reference when I start a new chapter. But this is how much I read. This is apparently 13% of this chunky ass book, which is nuts. But I mean, so far so good. It's not really too crazy. I mean, I can kind of guess who's gonna make this really sad just because I've heard this name dropped a lot when other people were talking about this book in like spoiler-free reviews or even just the reviews, as well as TikTok videos and even Pinterest posts that I've seen. Everybody drops Jude's name, and I can already kind of see that happening just because of how they're talking about Jude, especially the later half of this first section. But I'm not sad. I'm not about to cry. Maybe I'll eat my words, but I don't know if I'm gonna actually cry with this book. I feel like I'm not, but who knows? Maybe the next clip you see, I'll be like bawling my eyes out because I am deeply wrong with that statement. But so far, it doesn't really seem that bad. I don't know. We'll see. I did it. I bit the bullet and just bought it on ebook because I got tired of holding it. And I also just want to lay down and read it. And I don't know about you guys, but laying down and reading a thick ass book like that, especially a paperback, is just not possible. I mean, it's possible, but you have to like lift it up and it just hurts your arm and it's just not fun. So I just got it. Don't judge me. It is what it is, okay? The only issue though is that usually the pages match. So like the Kindle pages match the book and it's easy to track with annotations, but this is page 118 and it's where I left off on this, which is page 135. So I don't really know what I'm gonna do so that I can annotate later on. I don't even know. I have to figure this out. Maybe I'll play with font size because maybe that's the issue, because this font is a lot smaller than this. I mean, this is a lot bigger than this. This is a lot smaller, so maybe that's the issue. I don't really know, but we'll figure this out. I just want to give you guys an update on A Little Life because I read a decent chunk last night and it was very upsetting. So I don't know if I said it in the last clip, but if I did, I'm pretty sure I said, is this book gonna pick up? Is it actually gonna be sad? Because I wasn't really sure and it didn't really seem that way just based on the first half of the book, like the first 40% of the book. It really didn't seem that way. I mean, there were definitely sad moments, don't get me wrong. There was a lot of tragic moments. No, I would say there were definitely a lot of sad moments. Like, not sad where I would cry, but sad where I acknowledge how fucked up the situation is. But I didn't cry because of that, you know? So that's why I was curious to see if I was actually going to cry because of this book. Because, like, I already gotten, like, almost 300 words into it and I was not crying. And that just seemed weird because everybody and their moms, when they talk about this book, they talk about how deeply traumatic it is to read this book, you know? I was on the section called The Axiom of Equality, Chapter 1. The end of Chapter 1 with Caleb and Jude. Yeah, I'm starting to see it. And I can only imagine how much more fucked up it's gonna get. And I am so deeply upset by the end of that chapter. If you know, you know. I am so, like, actually, like, because leading up to that moment, I've been able to read it at night and still be able to fall asleep because, not saying it's boring, but, you know, it's like literary fiction and that type of mood kind of makes me a little bit more sleepy compared to, like, a romance novel that gets me kicking my feet or whatever. So I thought last night I would finish the rest of the chapter, go to sleep, everything would be okay. It was not okay. I just want you guys to know it was so not okay that it actually woke me up. After that chapter, after I finished reading that chapter, I could not go to sleep. There was no way in good conscience that I could actually close my eyes and go to sleep after witnessing what had just happened. There was no way. So I tried to read a bunch of other books to, like, get sleepy again, but all I could think about was Jude and I was very upset. So I don't even know how to even process the rest of this book. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. We still have 2 more sections of the book and I still have to read 2 more chapters within this section. So I'm on chapter 2 of the Axiom of Equality, and then after that there's chapter 3, and then there's another section called The Happy Years, which I don't think is gonna be happy at all. I think it's gonna be very depressing and I don't know how I'm gonna handle that. I don't even know. And then there's Dear Comrade, which is the last. No, that's not the last section. There's Dear Comrade and then Lispenard Street, which I think that's gonna be very depressing too. I don't even know, but I'm so scared. I'm actually so scared. Oh my god. I'm gonna try to read the rest of this tonight, like the rest of this chapter and the rest of that section, The Axiom of Equality. Can't guarantee that it's gonna go well at all. I don't even know. I'm scared. I'm so scared. I will update you guys tomorrow, maybe. If I actually grew the guts to actually read it tonight, I'll update you guys tomorrow. If not, I'll update you guys whenever I get to it. I feel like I'm, like, low-key starting to avoid this book because it's making me kind of upset. So there's that. So I wanted to update you guys on A Little Life. It's been a few days now since I last updated you guys, but I have gotten to the section in this book called The Happy Years. Is it the happy years? I don't really know. So far it does kind of seem like the happier years, but I feel like it's gonna get worse. Like, I feel like it's gonna get so much sadder and I don't really know how to cope with that. Low-key, I have been kind of putting this off because, like, I'm excited to read the rest of it just so I could be done with this book, but I'm also scared. Like, emotionally, I'm scared because I forget which section it was, but one of the sections with Caleb, that was heavy. That was really heavy. That was a lot. If it's gonna get worse than that and people are crying in the last section, I don't even know. I don't even know how I'm gonna deal with that. But I think I'm gonna live react to the last chapter because I think that's the saddest chapter, I think, but we'll see how that goes. I don't know how long it's gonna take for me to get there. I'm aiming to finish this week so I could just be emotionally done with it. But my heart truly goes out for Jude. Like, we found out more information about Jude and his backstory, and man, oh man, I literally feel so bad for Jude. Like, I don't even, like, but so far, William is the GOAT. William is the best so far. And also, who else? Henry? Like, I just feel so bad for Henry too, because he's really trying his best. Henry and Julie? I always forget. But Henry and Julia, like, they are trying their best and I just feel so bad. I feel so bad. Jude deserves better. I don't know, I'm so conflicted. Anyways, I will update you guys once we get closer to the last chapter, but until then, I'm gonna keep reading this. Not now. I can't emotionally handle that right now, but later. Probably at night, because the nighttime for sad things is like the best time. I don't know about you guys, but being sad at night is way better than in the middle of the day. So yeah, there we go. I'm gonna update you guys later on that though, so. I am not okay. I'm in the 3rd chapter of the section called Dear Comrade, and I am not okay. As you probably saw in the previous clip, I was reading the last chapter in this section, and I started crying. Yeah, I was crying. And I am not okay. And I feel like the rest of this book is gonna make me cry, like ugly cry. So I'm gonna spare you guys from that because I don't think you wanna see me ugly cry. I'm gonna read the next 2 chapters and report back to you on how I feel about this because I'm not ready. I am not ready. It's taken me, I think, like 2 weeks to get to this point, and I'm like oddly like kind of sad that it's coming to an end because Hanya does like a really good job of using words to perfectly describe what's going on and how the characters feel and stuff. So you really get like a visceral reaction and a visceral feeling reading this. But I'm also a little bit relieved that it's gonna be over soon because it's a really sad book. A lot of things happen and a lot of traumatic things happen. And the more you read it, the more you realize how fucked up of a life Jude has had. And I really feel bad for him, and I just don't really know what to do because you can't really do anything, you know? I'm gonna read the next 2 chapters. I thought I was gonna record me reacting to the last chapter, but I don't want to do that anymore. I simply cannot do that anymore. So yeah, I'm gonna read these 2 chapters and I'll let you know how it goes. I finished the book. I finished A Little Life and I am not okay. I need 5 to 7 business days to process this book because what the fuck did I just read? So the last chapter, I don't think this is spoiling anything. So the last chapter is in Harold's point of view, and I didn't know that it was in his point of view until like a few pages in, and then it hit me, it clicked, and then I was like, oh my god. So I had to go back and reread everything because now I knew it was Harold's point of view, and now I'm not okay. Like I thought, I was screaming, crying, throwing up. Emphasis on the crying because what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, it's a good what the fuck because it's clearly these characters are impacting me this much, so that means the writing is good to the point where it's impacting me this much and I feel for all the characters, but oh my god, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm not okay. That was not okay. Oh my god. I don't even know. Overall though, check the trigger warnings in this book. If you're thinking about reading this book, check the trigger warnings. And if you can't handle the trigger warnings, then don't read it. Honestly, like, this book has a lot of traumatic things in there, and I really would not recommend you to even try to go there if you can't handle it, because it's a lot. It's beautifully written. Hanya does a really good job of writing the book. She picks her words so meticulously. Like, I can tell that she's picking the words on purpose because some of these words I had to look up and I'm like, oh wow, that's like the perfect word for this circumstance and what you're describing. So she does a really good job with that, and she does a really good job on writing these different characters, and it's kind of like a character study on these people. I kind of wish that she went into a little bit more depth about Malcolm and JB, but it is what it is. This book is mostly about Jude, so that is why we didn't get as much as we did. And also, if she added more of Malcolm and JB, then it would have been like a 2,000 page novel, and as much as I like this book, no, we are not going to read 2,000 pages of that. So I get it, but I just wish we had a little bit more, you know? I would say the ending is very full circle. So if you're worried about that, you don't have to, because it is very full circle. So I am probably going to binge all the content that they have with the play, because I believe this book was turned into a play that is in London. I think it's London, but they do have a play for A Little Life, and so I'm probably gonna binge all that content now that I know everything that has happened, and I will probably look through Pinterest and Instagram and TikTok to see what other people think, because I have so many thoughts. I have so many thoughts and feelings about this book now that I've actually read it. Don't get me wrong, I cried. I cried reading this book. I thought I wouldn't, but I did, so don't get that twisted. But it's not as bad as like other people made it out to seem like. I've seen a couple other reviews, like other spoiler-free reviews, and a couple other reactions from people, and it wasn't that for me. Like, of course it was sad, of course there were traumatic moments, like very detailed traumatic moments, but it wasn't like that for me. I don't know. Maybe I still am dead inside, or maybe I've read or seen worse, and that's why I'm like, oh, I thought it would be way worse than that. Not saying that the things that have happened are not bad, because it is bad. It's very traumatic, so don't underestimate that. It is intense, but I just thought it'd be more, which might say more about me than anything else. So I don't know. It wasn't as bad as I thought. Still was sad. Still was a lot to go through. Still was screaming, crying, throwing up. But yeah, it just wasn't what I expected it to be, and I'm okay with that. I actually don't want to go through something even more traumatic than that, and I'm kind of glad that it didn't live up to my expectations, because if it lived up to my expectations and surpassed it, I really don't know how I would be functioning. I don't know what I would be doing right now. So yeah, glad that it didn't do that, but I am still sad about this book. Everything that happened in this book, so sad. But there were so many beautiful moments too. I think that's what a lot of people don't talk about this book, is that as much as there's a lot of traumatic stuff, a lot of it also balances out with all the beautiful moments that happen within the friend group, especially with Jude. Like, as much as he's been through fucked up stuff, he's also built a very beautiful life with everything that's happened. So yeah, there's a lot that happens, but also there's a lot of beautiful moments, a lot of great moments that just really warms your heart too. And like, I don't want to spoil too much, because yeah, I don't want to spoil too much. But I just don't agree that, because like the biggest criticism that people have about this book is that it's essentially like trauma porn, and I don't agree with that. Like, that's not the vibe I got from that, you know? Like, I think there were traumatic moments. I think a lot happened, a lot of intense things that happened, and a lot of graphic things that were explained out and how it happened. But I don't think that Hanya really did that to be like, oh, like, let's just throw in all this unnecessary trauma in there just so that you could see that I could write traumatic moments. Like, I think it was all done on purpose because it goes with what's happening with the characters, and it makes total sense, and it supports the character studies of these characters that have grown up with each other for the past few decades. And I don't know, like, I think it's a choice that she made in order to tell the point that she was with these characters, and I think it makes total sense, and I completely understand why she did it, and I don't think it was like unnecessary. Sure, she could have wrote it less descriptive, sure, she could have wrote less about it, but I don't really think that it would have been the same without exploring everything that happened, you know? It kind of would be like we were the other characters, not really knowing what had happened. You see what I mean? And they literally didn't know the depths of why people were the way that they were. And I think us as the readers getting an inside look into that and knowing everything that has happened, especially as certain people discover the information, I think that is way more impactful, despite how unfortunate it is, which it is unfortunate that these things have happened to the people that it happened to, you know? So yeah, I'm I don't hate it personally. I don't know if I'm gonna reread this book. I think it's like a lot to take in, and I'm glad I read it once. I just don't think I'm gonna reread it again, especially since it already took me like 2-3 weeks to finish this book in itself. I'm gonna read a happier book. I'm currently in the middle of the good part, so I will probably just finish that and hope that that is a lot happier so I don't get sad again from a book. With that being said, let me know if you guys have read A Little Life, if you liked it, didn't like it. I would love to hear your thoughts. We can have a little chit chat in the comments. And with that being said, I will see you guys next time. Bye!